Good morning everybody, welcome back to Visit Fylde Coast, and this is your vlog with a view for this week. Anybody that knows me will have read the title of this and started laughing before they even started watching it, because today's vlog is about travel sickness. Now, if you like coming to the seaside and you enjoy spending time at the coast, there's an odds-on chance that quite a few of you will either have or know somebody who has travel sickness. So it's obviously very, very pertinent to a seaside blog. And I'm really lucky me, I've always suffered from travel sickness. So I thought I'd share some funny stories and some hints and tips. And then if you're in the same camp as me and you'll suffer as well, you might take some solace from the fact that you're not on your own, and you might pick some ideas up as well. So let's start at the beginning. As a little girl, I can't remember ever not having travel sickness. Everywhere we went, I was sick, practically to the letter. So to me, it just became part of normal life. So every time we went out of the door, we got to be prepared for it. And so 30 minutes to an hour before, I got to have a travel sickness tablet. I used to take Dramamine. I don't even know whether they still make them. It's that long ago. And I think they're a type of antihistamine. And I used to take one of them, and I'm not kidding, half an hour and you're asleep. So we'd be going out on a day trip or whatever, or even 3 inches down the road, and I'd be wanting to go to sleep. So at this point we didn't have a car. I mean, I'm going back to the early 1970s. So everywhere we went on public transport. That's either a bus, service bus, a coach, or a train, or a taxi, or whatever. So in fact, I'll tell you what, we'll go this way. We'll go around the end of the ground before the tide comes in. So one of the first early ones that I particularly remember is going to York. We used to go on a lot of British Rail trips that they did. There was sort of like a family excursion type thing. Actually, we'll go this way. There were a family excursion, and they did like a proper trip. So they rolled all kinds of little bits of different things into it, and they were good, really good. So this particular year we were going to York, I think. Hello, doggy. Hello, Pooch. Hello, Pooch. No jumping, not in mud. So we'd gone to the allotted train station looking for the train to catch, and we got to this train station on a service bus. So my mum had got a beautiful sheepskin coat which she got on, because if I remember rightly it might have been around about Christmas time, cold weather anyway. So we got halfway there, and I announced, I'm going to be sick, and I was sick straight down front of a sheepskin coat. So we ended up going to York on a train for a day trip, smelling of vomit. So that's sort of episode number 1. I used to go dancing, I used to go to ballet classes, and I swear not, they were just under a mile away. There were some cabins at a cricket club that we used to train at. Some, like, sort of portable buildings. And one of the families that went lived near us, and they used to give us a lift. And literally travelling, I should say 3/4 of a mile from home to the dancing classes, and I felt sick. I don't think I ever actually managed to be sick, but I always got out of the car feeling bilious. And then another one, that was famous was when we went to Scout Dyke, and that was a children's activity outdoor centre in the sort of Sheffield area. So all our class went to Scout Dyke when we were in the last year of the junior school, and we went to this reservoir, can't quite remember which one, but we were doing the water cycle and how water's purified, and must have been an omen of things to come. So we'd gone to this reservoir and this water treatment plant, and there was a class of kids in this little transit van. I mean, this must have been 1970 blob, and it had got benches, wooden benches, that went sideways inside the van. So we're all sat there in our little blue cagoules, steaming because it's raining, in this van, sat sideways, trundling round back streets of Sheffield to go to this res. Well, I got out of that van and I felt so sick. I just sat on the floor, the wet floor, with my head between my knees, saying, "Oh, I'm going to be sick." And the teacher stood there and she said, "I used to be just like that, Jane. And when I learnt to drive, I was much better. It all seemed to stop." And I can remember looking at her and saying, "I'm only 10. It was so funny. And then the other one that I must tell you was when we came to Blackpool on a day trip. We booked a coach trip. I'd have been about 15. And me and my friend at school went for a day out in Blackpool on our own. And my mum and my dad, and I think my grandma and granddad might have been there as well. They went off on their own, but we all went on this coach together. So I did the famous, "I'm going to be sick." Anyway, by this time the buses have got paper bags stuffed in the back of the seat rest, back of the headrest, and I said, "I'm going to be sick." And my mum said, "Don't use that, it's paper. I've got a plastic bag in my bag. Here you are." Throws this plastic bag at me. There was an hole in the bottom, so I vomited straight down my own skirt. So I ended up going straight to I can distinctively remember going in toilets at Pleasure Beach and trying to wash it all off. So that was my very bilious attempts at trying to go from A to B. So what did I do to try and get rid of it? Well, that's a good one, because I can feel travel sick sat at my desk. But that teacher was dead right. Learning to drive was the best thing that I could ever do, because they reckon that travel sickness is an imbalance between your eyes and your balance and your ears. And when you learn to drive, because you're concentrating on the distance and you're looking at where you're going to go, it focuses your mind, so it stabilises your gyroscope. I'm just going to show you this. Look how the tide's coming in and it's cutting across. So learning to drive was the best thing. So I mean, that's not always practical, but I tend to generally always drive. If we're going anywhere as a family, I always drive, because if I sit in the back, it's a recipe for disaster, even now. Trains and trams and things like that are usually better for people that have got travel sickness. They certainly are for me and my mum. I don't know whether it's because there's less wobble and it kind of holds you more steadily. I'm not sure, it might be something to do with that. Travel sickness tablets, well, I'm not sure. I mean, I just won't go out without them as a kid, so heaven only knows what would have happened if I'd not taken them. But they just make you so tired and so thirsty. So I can't say I'm a big fan. But the one thing that is good, that does seem to work, is ginger. And what I do, I buy bags of crystallised ginger that you buy for baking, They sell it in Poundland and places like that. And it's in a little sort of foil pouch. And it's literally what you buy when you're making a cake. And I keep mine in the car. I have a little plastic Tupperware thing, a little like jug thing that's got a screw top that I keep in the side door of the car. And when I feel sick, I have a piece of ginger, and it's the best thing that you could ever have, honestly. I mean, I like ginger anyway, I could eat it for sweets, but it really does settle your stomach. It's excellent if you suffer from nausea and you feel awful. So that would be my top tip, definitely crystallised ginger. I mean, if you're going on public transport, you could just put some in a little plastic, one of those little tiny plastic boxes, and just pop it in your pocket or your bag. So I would recommend that as my number one top tip. And then of course the other thing that you can do is just stop where you are, which I find myself doing increasingly more and more as I get older. And frankly, you know, when you've got this and you've got a beautiful coast like this, why would you want to go anywhere else? So what do you think? Do you suffer from travel sickness? Do you know anybody that does suffer from travel sickness? Has it made your life a misery? If you want to put your comments and your observations in the comments below this video, we can have our weekly chat on the subject of motion-induced vomiting. You have a lovely day, everybody. Take care and don't go throwing up now. See you later. Bye.